Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of The Awesome with Cody. As usual, I'm your host, Cody, and today we are wrapping up October's theme of awesome Halloween-y movies. So, for the folks who are just joining us for the first time, or the first time in this month, the movies I have picked are less of horror movies and just movies you should watch during Halloween time. And they are, week 1 was The Frighteners, week 2 was Lord of Illusions, week 3 was The Lost Boys, and today's final episode of October 2020 is Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, or Beetlejuice as most people know it. I never really got the moniker Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, but it is directed by Tim Burton, but written by two other dudes. Well, the screenplay was written by two other dudes. Story originally by one of the two dudes and a different guy, but I will get to that in a minute. Beetlejuice. Many people have seen it. It's a classic. It is one of the best horror comedies ever made. Let's go over who made it. So, first up, Tim Burton. Tim Burton, of course, the virtuoso artist that is the gentleman who brought us Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands' Nightmare Before Christmas, Ed Wood's Sleepy Hollow, Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, Dark Shadows, Frankenweenie. He did Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Batman Returns. He's done a lot of things. Big Fish. I love Big Fish. One day I'll talk about that movie probably. That's Tim Burton. Tim Burton's made tons of things. Like I just mentioned, a bunch of them. And he's awesome. He's an awesome creative dude. He sometimes is the bane of people's life, but he's still a good guy. And sometimes some of the hardest artists to work with are some of the best. So anyhow, that's it. That's Tim Burton. Next up, writing the screenplay based on a story by himself, Michael McDowell. Him and Warren Scarron, I believe is how you say his name. But Michael McDowell, also known as also an actor, but mostly known, I think, mainly for his writing, not much his acting. He worked on obviously Beetlejuice, Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt, the TV show Monsters from late 80s, early 90s. Night Before Christmas, he did the screenplay adaptation with Carolyn Thompson, and then of course Thinner, that he wrote way back in 1996 based on the book by Stephen King. Adaptations, Beetlejuice the cartoon series, as well as Cold Mountain, based on the novel by I don't remember who wrote that one. Josh Stewart? I don't remember who wrote that one. Doesn't matter. It's not about this. But yeah, he's done a lot of different things. He wrote some books way back in the day. I've never read any of them. But yeah, that's it. Author Michael McDowell. Along with him, Warren Scarron co-wrote this with him. He also worked on Beverly Hills Cop 2 and Batman with Sam Hamm, of course directed by Tim Burton as well. And the next up, actors. So in this movie, we have a handful of actors. I will be talking briefly as possible about 10 of them, because that's the majority of them. Well, Annie McEnroy, I can't remember, I don't know how to say her name. She played a bit part in it, but I don't really know her from too much, so I didn't bring her up. But anyways, the titular character, Beetlejuice, or as some people say, Beetlegeist, even though it's pronounced juice, that's just a funny way of doing it. Played by Michael Keaton masterfully, his favorite role of mine. His favorite role of mine, my favorite role of his. Maybe he likes my portrayal of Beetlejuice, but he's never seen it because I've never done it. Anyhow, my favorite role of his is Beetlejuice, but really He had a couple big movies before that: Mr. Mom, Johnny Dangerously, Gung Ho, Night Shift, all really good movies. But really, Beetlejuice and his follow-up to Beetlejuice, Batman, really made him a household name, and made him, famous beyond famous can be for a long time. And he did quite a few movies, and stellar movies as is. Worked solidly for literally every year since 1988, really. In 1988, he released 2 movies. Had a uncredited cameos himself in one other movies, but he had 2 movies that came out in 1989, which were Batman and the Dream Team. The Dream Team, if you don't know what is a 1989 comedy thriller film directed by Howard Leaf and produced by Christopher W. Knight. But it's a pretty funny one too, with Christopher Lloyd and Peter Boyle and Stephen Furst. It's a good, funny movie, too. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Beetlejuice. And also starring in Beetlejuice, of course, Alec Baldwin as Adam Maitland. So, Alec Baldwin, he's Alec Baldwin. You should know who Alec Baldwin is. Up to that point, he'd only been in one other movie, which is Forever Lulu. And then in 1988, he had a ton of movies. He released She's Having a Baby, Married to the Mob, Working Girl, Talk Radio, and Beetlejuice all come out in the same year. Pretty busy dude. And then has always been making movies. Him and his family have always been making movies. I do love him in this movie, but forever and ever and ever and ever, he will always be and never fail to be, to me, his character from 30 Rock, Jack Donaghy. Fantastic as Jack Donaghy, and just an amazing dude in general. Movie-wise, I don't know if he's a good guy in real life. Never actually met him. But whenever I think of Alec Baldwin, he's one of 3 things. He is Jack Donaghy from... or Donaghy, Jack Donaghy from 30 Rock. I always want to say Dennehy because it sounds like Brian Dennehy, but it's not. It's Donahue? Donahue? I don't remember. Jack from 30 Rock. He'll be Adam Maitland from Beetlejuice. And, of course, who could ever forget his role in The Shadow, playing Lamont Cranston in The Shadow. I do love that movie, even though most people hate it. You should check it out. It's pretty fun. I maybe should do that. You know what? That's a good idea. Because I can do The Shadow, and I can do The Phantom. Yeah. Those are some good ones. I got to think of some other ones to go with those. Good idea, guys and ladies and whoever else is listening to this. Way to spin me off topic. Anyhow, Alec Baldwin, he's awesome in movies and television programs. I don't know about in real life, though. Next up, Geena Davis. Geena Davis plays Barbara Maitland, Adam Maitland's wife. Geena Davis, of course, been in tons of things. A League of Their Own. I say that, oh, no, what else she's been in? She's been in a lot of different things. But I always think of her as Barbara in this, and, of course, I think of her in League of Their Own because I do love that movie, even though I don't really like sports ball, but whatever. But she plays Dottie Hanson in A League of Their Own, and it's fantastic. She's also in Thelma and Louise, Quick Change, Accidental Tourist. One of my other favorites from the same year Beetlejuice came out, Earth Girls Are Easy. The year before that, or 2 years before that, she was in The Fly with your boy, what's his name? I'm thinking he's Jeff Goldblum. Can't think of his name right now. Jeff Goldblum. She was in Cutthroat Island. Eric loves that movie. I don't remember if I care about that movie or not. She was in the Stuart Little movies, as the mom. TV shows. She was in an episode of Knight Rider, so that's pretty fucking rad. She was on 13 episodes of Grey's Anatomy. Did not know that. Okay. Short-lived television program of her own, The Geena Davis Show, which was on ABC way back in the early 2000s. Can't say that I actually ever watched it, but whatever. Then she was on Commander-in-Chief as the president on that for many a moon, 18 episodes. So that's pretty good. Yeah. She was in The Exorcist, the television program that failed. Interesting. Did not know that. And then, of course, most recently she was in Glow on the Netflix for 6 seasons in the 3rd season of Glow. Yeah. And it's Gina Davis, man. She's been in a lot of different movies, a lot of different TV shows. Where was the early... Oh, Transylvania 65000. She was in that. She was in Fletch. She had a small role in Tootsie. But yeah, no, that's Gina Davis. Next up, Jeffrey Jones as Charles Dietz. Jeffrey Jones, for me, really comes down to a few things. Again, I say this about everybody. There's like always these like roles that they always know in, like that you always think about him in, and I have some pretty bizarre ones. I mean, besides Beetlejuice, he's been in a lot of movies. He's done a lot of things with Tim Burton. No, he's in Beetlejuice, but he was in Sleepy Hollow. He was in what other ones? I know Ed Wood. He was in Ed Wood, Tim Burton movie. I think it's actually might be all of them. Yeah. But anyways, to me, he will always be, again, one of 3 roles whenever I think about him. Number 1, obviously, will be Beetlejuice, because he's fantastic in this movie. I love his character. He's kind of a scumbag-ish guy, but also, like, sort of nice, whatever. And number 2, he will always be Dr. Walter Jennings, the Dark Overlord of the Universe, from Howard the Duck, because I love that movie, even though everyone hates that movie. I love it to death, and I will always love it to death because it's amazing. And then third, but not least, as he will be Spike from Stay Tuned. I briefly talked about actually, you know what? No, that's actually incorrect. I ended up never talking about it on this show because the recording for that show was ruined, as some would say. So that intro never actually came out because I ranted about it, and then all of a sudden I found out that for some reason it wasn't recording properly, and I started over, and I totally forgot because I got flustered with the whole problem going on. I never talked about Stay Tuned. Fuck, that's another one I should talk about too. I should make notes with this because I will forget. As I say that, you think, oh, he's writing stuff down. No, he's not. Because he's dumb. Anyhow, he was also in Deadwood on the HBO, as well as the HBO movie, Deadwood the Movie, which is a terrible name, but I mean, probably didn't have another name for it. But he played A.W. Merrick for 33 episodes of that particular program, and of course reprised it in the TV movie Deadwood the Movie on the HBOs as well. He's done a lot of things, a lot of voice acting. He was also in Duckman, which will actually lead to another thing on there. But yeah, he's been in a lot of things. Television-wise, he doesn't have a lot of, other than in Deadwood. He was in The People Next Door for 10 episodes in 1989. No idea what it is. I don't remember why we're watching that one. But movie-wise, like I said, he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in Amadeus, Transylvania 65000 with Gina Davis. He was the principal in that one Slacker movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He played Edward R. Rooney, or vice principal, right? He wasn't the actual principal. Wasn't he vice principal in that? Doesn't matter. Of course, he was in Howard the Duck, because, I mean, Howard the Duck was amazing. Beetlejuice, Who's Harry Crumb, Hunt for Red October, Mom and Dad Save the World, Stay Tuned, like I said, Ed Wood, House Guest, The Crucible, Devil's Advocate, The Pest, which is a fantastically terrible movie. Stuart Little, along with Gina Davis. Sleepy Hollow, Heartbreakers, Heartbreakers with Gina Davis. The Heartbreakers was that the one with Sigourney Weaver? I think. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Dr. Little 2, How High is the Vice President, which is hilarious. And then, yeah, that's Jeffrey Jones, everybody. Good dude, I guess. Again, I don't know him personally. I don't know why I keep saying that about people, but he seems like a good dude. Next up, playing Delia Dietz is Catherine O'Hara. Catherine O'Hara, of course, most notably, other than being in Beetlejuice, is extremely well known for being the voice of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. But she's done a lot of other things. She was in Second City with the likes of Dan Aykroyd and John Candy and a lot of those dudes from around that time. And she has been in a lot of different things. She was in Dick Tracy, which is fucking rad anyways. But movie-wise, After Hours, Betsy's Wedding, Home Alone, she's the mom. She's Kate McAllister. Kate McAllister. I can't talk today. She was in Home Alone 2, obviously. Night Before Christmas, she played Sally in Shock. In that, she was in Wyatt Earp. She was in Waiting for Guffman. She was in Pippi Longstockings as Mrs. Pyrelis. I can't remember how to say that, but I believe that's the animated one. Yeah, she played the voice in that one. Best in Show, speaking of sex, Orange County, Mighty Wind, Surviving Christmas, Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate Events. She played Justice Strauss. Chicken Little, she did the voice of Tina. A lot of voice acting in there. A lot of voice acting in general. Even TV show wise, she did a lot of voice acting in cartoons throughout the late 2000 teens, early 2000s too, I think, really. And then, of course, most notably, I guess you'd say Beetlejuice for sure. Probably Home Alone for sure, Aziz. And then her role, I would probably say in best in show, she's probably the best of her roles outside of Beetlejuice for sure. But anyhow, that's Catherine O'Hara. She's pretty awesome too. Again, I say that like I know in real life. I don't, but she's a pretty awesome actress, and you should check her out. Next up is Lydia Dietz. Lydia Dietz is played by Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder has been in a lot of things, most notably nowadays is she's in Stranger Things. And everyone loves Stranger Things, including myself. So, I mean, that's Joyce Byers is her character name in that. Otherwise, a couple other things she's been in that you would know. Edward Scissorhands. Great Balls of Fire. She played Myra Gale Lewis. She was in Heathers, everyone's sort of favorite movie. Is that the one that has suicide in it? No, maybe not. I don't remember. It's been a long time to watch Heathers, but it had Christian Slater in it, so boom, haha. She was in Mermaids, Bram Stoker's Dracula. She played Wilhelmina Mina Murray, the love interest of both Keanu Reeves' character and Dracula himself. Let's see. There's Reality Bites. She was in that. Little Women, the 1994 version, not the 2009. Did that come out this year? 2019? I can't remember when the new Little Women came out. She was in Alien Resurrection. No one likes to talk about that. The Crucibles. She was in, I said Girl Interrupted. Being John Malkovich. Zoolander, Mr. Deeds, one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. A Scanner Darkly, she was in that one. Sex and Death 101, one of my favorite dark comedies. Fantastic in that one, too. I loved her in that one. She was really sexy in that one, too, mainly because she's all voluptuous and murdering people. Frankie Weenie. She did a voice on that one. She played Elsa Van Helsing. Destination Wedding with Keanu Reeves 2 years ago. That was that one. That's about it for Winona Ryder. You know Winona Ryder. She had some problems with theft. I don't know why I brought that up, but I did. Next up, we have Sylvia Sidney playing Juno. She's an older actress. I don't say that. She died in 1999. I don't know why I said she's an old actress. Just meant she's an old school actress. Been in a ton of things, way too many to even talk about, both TV and movies. She started working way back in 1927, and all the way to right before her death in 1998. She was in Fantasy Island, the reboot television program on ABC that I believe was terrible. But again, like I've been doing all day with this, is she will always be one of two things to me that I can always think of when I see her. That's Beetlejuice. She plays Juno in Beetlejuice. And then she plays Grandma Florence Norris in Mars Attacks. She's the old lady in the wheelchair that is sort of super deaf, so they turn on the record player all high, and she wears her headphones, then it gets pulled out, and the aliens, Martians, heads explode. That's her. Spoiler, by the way, for people who didn't watch Mars Attacks. The aliens are killed by this particular song playing through a record player, or just in general, really, that song plays and kills them, their heads explode for whatever frequency that's hitting. But I digress. That's Sylvia Sidney, everybody. Next up, our last two, we have Robert Goulet playing Maxie Dean. Robert Goulet has been in a lot of things. He's again another old school actor. Probably, I mean, he's also a singer. I shouldn't just say actor, because he had a lot of fucking records he put out too, like a ton, like shit ton. But he besides being playing himself in Scrooged, one of my favorite Christmas movies, portrayed himself in a commercial for Robert Goulet's Cajun Christmas, a fictional IBC television network program. He was Wheezy the Penguin, the singing voice, uncredited, of course, in Toy Story 2. Movie-wise, I only know him really from Scrooged because he plays himself in that, and, of course, Beetlejuice the same year. I don't know him from a whole lot of other things. I don't even know if I've seen most of those things. Television-wise, he's been in a ton of television. Long stints of something? Not really. A lot of TV movies, a lot of one-shots, but his biggest thing is biggest credit is he is a singer, Broadway musical guy. It's Robert Goulet, everybody. Plays Maxie Dean. Next up and last of the actors is Glenn Shaddix, who plays Otho, most notably. And again, he's going to be one of three people I will always go back to remembering as these three roles. And, of course, one is Otho from Beetlejuice. Then you have the voice of the mayor of Halloween Town in Nightmare Before Christmas. And, of course, my personal favorite, because I like to believe it's Otho in the future. He plays Associate Bob in Demolition Man. I love that movie so much, and he's amazing in it. But yeah, he's a really good actor. Had mobility issues later in life, which caused him not to be able to act after 2005 or so, I believe, if I read correctly earlier. But he did a lot of voice acting, so that's nice. Everything from, Men in Black cartoon to newest things of the Teen Titans. He played the Brain and Monsieur Molan in the not newer Teen Titans Go, but the other one, the first set of Teen Titans Go cartoons in 2005 and 2006. And then he was in... I forgot he was in the animated show for Jumanji. Well, I forget. He was in one episode, but I forgot they even made that animated one. But yeah, he's been in voice acting in so many different things. Both TV and movies, really. But yeah, that's Glenn Shattuck's pretty awesome dude as well. Again, I said that. I don't know the guy in real life. I don't know why I keep bringing that up. Anyhow, so that's who is in the movie. For the people who haven't seen it, basically real big breakdown of the movie itself. It is a American fantasy comedy film, or dark comedy, as some like to say it. It is released on March 30th, 1990 or 1988. Pretty amazing cast, like I already went over. Music by Danny Elfman, some of the best he did score-wise. Just really good themes and stuff like that. The movie itself follows the afterlife of Alec Baldwin's Adam Maitland and Gina Davis's Barbara Maitland, who die in a car accident avoiding hitting a little dog. They drowned, not knowing how they got back to their home. They now find out they are haunting their home that is found in Winter River, Connecticut. And they find out that Barbara's cousin, the pushy Jane Butterfield, played by Annie McEnroy. I think McEnroy. I'm not too sure how to say that. It might be McEnroy. I don't know. Anyhow, who is pushing them to sell the house. Ends up selling it to the Dietz, Charles and Delia Dietz, with their his daughter and her stepdaughter, Lydia Dietz, played by Winona Ryder, and then her friend and cohort Otho come to help redecorate the house. The Maitlands try to get rid of him. They enlist a poltergeist named Beetlejuice, who is basically a bioexorcist. He basically says he can get rid of the living. He does so by murdering some of them. Spoiler alert. And also haunting the shit out of people in terrifying ways, like turning into a giant banister snake. And then forces himself onto Winona Ryder's character, Lydia Dietz, into a marriage to bring him across into the real world permanently. And then they have to fight against him to get rid of him. Boom. There's a lot more to it, but you'll understand if you watch the movie, and you probably have, because it's a really famous movie, and it's fucking phenomenal, so everyone should see it. Anyhow, a couple quick things I like. I don't know if I'll continue doing this, but I might continue doing this, but I found a couple cool trivia facts about it. Real fast to wrap this up. 90% of the lines of Beetlejuice were actually ad-libbed by Michael Keaton, which I thought was pretty fucking awesome. This is Michael Keaton's favorite role of his own. Much like me, he loves this role of his, and I do love it as well. Originally in the movie, the studio wanted to call the movie House Ghosts, and as a joke, Tim Burton said, why don't we call it Scared Sheetless? And the studio loved it, which horrified him, and then he eventually convinced them to call it Beetlejuice, spelled the way it's pronounced, not the way it's spelled in the movie, which really would have confused people. Beetlegeist? Why do they keep calling him Beetlejuice? Anyways, so that's fun. Fun little fact, also, Beetlejuice is the first DVD ever sent out on Netflix in 1998, which is pretty cool. The couple different things, the song Deo, the Banana Boat song, originally was not going to be the song used in the dinner party, and Tim Burton actually hated the song, and the sequence, I should say, not the song, and thought it wasn't very funny, but turned out he was wrong, because audiences always think back to the dinner, the iconic scene of the dinner party scene and the Deo dance that everyone does, and is pretty amazing. And actually that song was recommended by Jeffrey, and whatever, I saw this fact, hold on. Yeah, Jeffrey Jones and Catherine O'Hara suggested the music be Calypso instead of a song by the Ink Spots. So apparently Tim Burton went with it, and it worked out, even though he thought the part wasn't funny. But I don't think it was because of the song. He thought the scene wasn't funny. But again, everyone loves that scene, so I don't know what the hell they're talking about. And in the making of this, Tim Burton was only given a budget of $1 million for special effects, so he decided to make the effects look as tacky and B-movie as possible, which I think really adds to the push and a love for that particular movie. Along with Spaceballs, the movie Big, and Caddyshack 2, it is notably for containing the F word in a film rated PG during the PG-13 era. So there's always been this wives' tale or myth around the ratings between PG and PG-13. Really, it's shocking that this movie was PG and not PG-13 because of sexual innuendos, straight up, violence, cartoonish violence, but still violence. But then the F-bomb, of course, delivered by Beetlejuice in one of the best scenes in it, which I will always and truly love to this day, is right after the Maitlands visit the model that is where Beetlejuice lives. He basically kicks over the model tree and yells, "Nice fucking model," and then honks his balls. And I love that part so much because it's an F-bomb, which I love when people cuss in general. And also he grabs his dick, and when he does it, you hear an audible, clown horn. And it's not him making it, it's just that's what happens. I don't know why they did it that way, but super fucking hilarious. I just love that scene so much because I think mainly because of the F-bomb. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode, everybody, of The Awesome C.O.D.Y. Again, we are wrapping up October's theme of awesome Halloween-y movies with Beetlejuice by Tim Burton and a bunch of other people, which I've talked about already on this episode. So thanks for joining me. Tune in next month when we'll have a new theme, of which I don't know what it is yet. Maybe I'll do those pulp superhero movies if I can figure out more of them than just The Phantom and The Shadow. And I'll make Paige watch them with me, which should be fun because I don't think she's ever heard of either of those. But yeah, anyhow, that's it, everybody. As usual, I'm your host, Cody, and I always say at the end of these, let's be awesome.